All right, part two of throwing a double wall piece of pottery with cutouts. This will be a little more advanced. It'll be sort of the type of thing that we went over in week 4 about a double piece, because that's basically what we're going to throw here. It is a double piece with double wall. So let me get this set up. We're going to start with a 2.5 pound piece of clay, and we'll finish up with a 1.5 pound piece of clay. Stamping that up, and you'll see at this point I'm using a bat. I really want to keep these pieces centered. I'm going to pull one off and put another one on, and to be able to put the first one back on and have it centered yet. So let's get this clay centered. This is going to be a rather skinny piece that comes up and more of a straight side on it. And then it's like a cylinder that flares out. So we might actually want to start with a cylinder. Drill my hole. Get the bottom in there. This is not going to be a big bottom. It's about 1.5 inches to 2 inches. Again, we're going to start by coning. And then we'll do some pulling up. And we're going to have to secure that bit. You see how slow I'm going here, because I really don't want to throw this off center. Now I left some clay up here. That's going to support the donut that we're going to put on top. And bring it up. I'm going to leave that lump of clay right up there. It's a pretty thick rim right there. And it's wobbling a little bit, and I want a little bit of that to be able to be cut off. Get some of this clay out of here. I might be able to make one more hole at the bottom. It's rather thick at the bottom. I'm going to leave that clay. I'm not going to go all the way up. Now to get my bottom a little thinner than that, I'm going to cut some of that clay off with the tip again, tip down. Hand inside, supporting the wall on the bottom, and I'm going to cut straight down. And that clay is going to peel right off to the thickness I want it to be. Let that ring of clay there. I'm going to go like this, and it's going to pull right out. Watch. Pull right out. And again, like before, I'm going to go tip down, and I'm going to Put that bottom exactly where I want it to be. And go straight up at that thing now. I don't want to go too wide with this particular vase. And I'm going to pull the water out because we don't want a really super damp pot. All right. Okay, part one done. Might just want to clean it up just a little bit. I'm going to clean it up with the metal rub. I'm going to keep it a little more straight, especially up at the top. Now you can see I've left a nice flat area right at the top here. I can't seem to get that exactly up and down, but I'm not sure that matters all that much. Or you can use just a tape measure or a ruler to measure across. I am going to measure the exterior. So I'm going to open it up. I'm going to measure the exterior of this. So I kind of want to make that fit exactly right on here. Okay, it's that wide. Now I can pull it away. Get my smaller piece. Get this damp so it sticks. Get this needs to be centered. I'll show you a little trick to make sure it's centered. And it needs to be at least that wide, if not wider. And we can always push it in, but what we can't do is pull it back out. If you think it's a little off center, you can always take a needle tool. Double hands on that needle tool so it doesn't take off on you, and go straight down, just like this, straight down. Don't let it get ripped out of your hands. Pull that piece off, cut it, get that out of the way. Perfectly centered piece of pottery, of clay now. Okay, my first hole I'm going to drill, because there are 2 holes we're going to drill here. Let's make sure that that's wide enough yet. It's just wide enough to fit on. The first hole we're going to drill is going to be all the way down to the base. I want to hear it scrape the back. I had a fingernail in there, didn't I? And I'm going to shake that a little bit. I'm going to go out. I'm actually going to pull out a little bit and give that hole a little width. It's about that big right now. kind of flatten that out again. The second hole we're going to drill is in between. So let's see a good angle at this. Right in between the center hole and the outside. It'll look like this. Center hole out as far as I want to go, and then I want to put some water in there so it doesn't get dry. Now I'm going to go down, and I'm only going to go down to about, oh, you could leave 3/8 of an inch on the bottom. Oop, I didn't get enough water, and I just caught a clump of clay. That's all right. Let's get the water in there. All right. Now the fun part. You have something that looks like a candle holder at this point. You're going to throw the inside first, and anything extra you get to cut off. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to throw it just like you're throwing a vase. You need a little more water. Okay. You want it kind of thin. You see I'm locked up. Both elbows are locked into my side. I don't want this moving my hands. If this moves my hands, then the whole thing's off center. Okay, you see how it's wobbling a little bit off center? 2 points will fix that. Not just 1 point pulling outward, but you need 2 points. And then pull outward a little bit. Pull away slowly, and it's centered. Now this is a little tall for what I really wanted to do with this vase. So I'm going to cut this down a little bit. And see, that might even be too tall for what I wanted to do. And I think I want to thin it down just one more time. And when I do it this time, I'm going to put a little arc in here. It's going to give me more room for the interior. I'm pushing inward and then pulling outward. So I've got a convex curve in there right now. Now I get to pull the outside out. And this is still, by the way, this is still too tall for the type of vase I'm making. But you'll get the idea. Now the outside, I've got this outside about where I want it that's going to fit on that vase. So now I can pull the outside into a vase too. Cut a little bit of that clay. Again, there's some dry clay in there, unfortunately. Oops. Here. Okay, now I'm going to pull a vase on the outside. All right, let's get some of that clay out of there again because it's wobbly where that dry clay was. Okay. Get that off there. Yeah, that should be pretty close. Before I close this up, I'm going to want to get the water off, and I'm going to want to make a measurement. At this point, I am way too big. You can see that's way too big. This is where we're going to do our cut down again with the tip of our, And you're going to want to support the interior just like before. Start pulling down, straight down. Hopefully I didn't get too small. Got all that clay out of there. Oh, that's really close. That's super, super close. I'll touch it up in the end. I'm a little thick right here, so cutting through that would be a little more difficult than I want. So I'm going to thin it out by doing a pull up. Well, this is working out quite wonderful. And make sure you keep measuring. It's important. Right. Looking good, Charlie Brown. Get some more of that on there. This vase, when it comes up, this vase is coming up like this, like this, like this, like this, and then it wants to start to curve over. So we're going to start that curve over about right there. After I pull some more of this clay out of here. Okay, good. All right, so okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get the water out of here. Well, let's clean this edge up first. Actually, I might want to come up just a tad bit with it yet. Okay. I'm going to start shaping that exterior the way I want it. Okay. Now I'm going to get the water out. I have a little sponge to get inside there and get that water out. Okay. Now I'm going to neck it in. I'm going to take one more measurement. And it's perfect at this point. I'm going to neck this part in where it's going to round off. Right. I'm going to try to pull that all the way over until it touches this inner wall here. So I'm doing 4 different locations. My fingers are, and I'm pushing in 4 different locations. It'd be best if you did it around the whole thing and came in. And I can do that too. Okay, so now it's touching. Now let's get it shaped before if I close this up right now, you've got an air bubble in there and it won't let it shape after that. So I'm going to shape this right now. I'm going to leave some slip up there. I'm going to cut the inner just above where this connection point is. Right, and I am going to pull that right over the top. And that'll be our connection. See how that flaps right over? I'm going to grab a nice rounded rib. And now there's an air bubble in there, so if I push, it's going to puff up. I'm going to push, puff it up right into the rim. Just like that. Needs one more puff like that. Let's do another measurement. There's nothing I can do now if it's not right. It might be a little bit on the large side. But when we put it on, we can always cut that off. If it was short, we'd have a problem. It's just almost perfect. I might just do a little touch up. Just like that. The next thing we need to do is let these dry a little bit. We can slice the bottom one, but leave this one unsliced or uncut on the bottom because we want to put it back on and want it to be centered. This one can be cut. Actually, let's pull a little water out of there first. You see how that's going to fit right on top of that? Perfect. Double wall right here. We can cut out what we want on this thing. You can put large dragonflies now, all the way down. Big wings coming over the top of it maybe. Butterflies. We did a Luna moth last week. You could put a Luna moth on there and cut the wings out. So that's that double wall pot. I'll put it together for us at our class and we'll do something with it. So that's how to make that double wall pot. I'll see you in class.